Hey there, welcome back to Video Games Club Podcast, episode 17. The game this week is called Q.U.B.E, 10th Anniversary Edition. That's Q.U.B.E. It's the remake of the original Q.U.B.E, the sequel of which we've already shown on this channel. That means it's a 3D puzzle platformer in the same vein of Portal. Put your Q.U.B.E gloves on, and let's get into the podcast. All right, Q.U.B.E 1, 10th Anniversary Edition.
Yes.
Is what we played today. This week. Considering we've already played Q.U.B.E 2, this game was not new.
No, it wasn't.
Not at all. It is a, I don't know, what did we say last time? Like a Portal adjacent or Portal clone?
Yeah, like a Portal clone, but, kind of like first-person puzzle.
Yeah, first-person puzzle game where you have to get to the next place by completing a puzzle.
Yeah, you're kind of like in a chamber, and like the puzzles are in chamber, like puzzle rooms,
right?
Kind of.
It has the same vibe because everything's like pretty much white and gray, and the atmosphere is really clean and crisp. The only difference between this and Q.U.B.E and Portal is obviously no murderous robot. And also there are much more cubes in Q.U.B.E.
A lot of cubes.
A lot of cubes. So many cubes, you'll be tired of seeing cubes when you're done.
Probably.
Yeah. So this game is I don't want to say like a remake.
No, it's like a
I guess like a remaster of the original
I think that would be
game.
Better.
I honestly feel like I should have
10th anniversary remaster.
Yeah, I feel like I should have actually clicked on the after I was done
The base game just to see what it
looked
like. Yeah, I should have done the same.
I didn't. But I will
Yeah.
say that the 10th anniversary edition, for all intents and purposes, is the same game from what I saw online.
Yeah.
I did look that up afterward. It does have improved graphics and it has a story. So that's nice.
Yeah. So
you're not just like mindlessly toiling on puzzles. Not like that's a problem. But, being pushed forward with a goal
by someone or something.
Yeah, it's quite nice. But yeah,
I wanted to mindlessly play puzzles. I'll just go play some Picross.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also squares.
There you go. Nice game to play while you're doing something else. Yeah, no, the graphics are really sharp. They're really clean. I think they're actually
obviously very similar to the second game.
I want to say that they're actually better than the second game.
They might be.
Where maybe it was because in the second game there weren't you basically started off in a I don't know how you would say attacked or partially destroyed cube. And so there was sand everywhere and there was grunge everywhere and it only got grungier.
Grunge, plants, etc.
Yeah, it only got grungier as you went along. Which is the case for this as well, but I think even the cubes are sharper and that sort of everything is just a lot sharper in this game.
Yeah.
Compared to the second game that we played first, ironically enough.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so the main difference between these games, I think, is probably the story.
Yeah. Which is definitely weird because it didn't feel like they led into each other.
No, I don't think they're meant to because this is kind of tacked on.
Yeah, it's like they made this story after they'd already made the story in Q.U.B.E 2.
Yeah.
So, that's fine, I guess.
Right.
What I can only assume would be at the end when it's this is gonna be spoilers, but
I was gonna say
spaceship Spoiler warning.
Yeah, spoiler warning going forward if you don't want this game spoiled. It's really not like I don't think that even hearing the ending to this game is much of a detraction because this game it's very much
No,
about the puzzles. The
it's
story
definitely
is
light on the story, even though they did add one into the 10th anniversary.
there
It's
is
still a pretty light story.
I guess there is there is kind of it's not really a twist. But it's more of a like you don't really get a choice, but you have to make a choice anyway.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
It is weird in that regard because it wasn't like there wasn't a perceived choice.
Well, there is a perceived choice.
No, is there?
Yeah, because you're talking to the guy who's like, what is his name? 919.
919, yeah.
And he's like, don't leave. And you're like, okay, I won't leave, but like the game just doesn't end if you don't leave.
Yeah, exactly. But I meant like perceived choice as in the second one, if anybody remembers, any of our viewers watch this video, the ending of that one had two doors you go into. It had a red door and a green door.
Right.
And that choice is what gave you a different ending.
Right.
But this one, it's like nothing happens if you don't enter the shuttle.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm saying.
Because I
like,
sat there for a bit and looked around and nothing happened.
It's like...
So it's not really like you don't get a choice.
No, you don't get a choice at all. But that's what I'm saying is you by ending the game, like your character is essentially making the choice.
Yeah.
But there is no there's no choice for the player.
Yeah.
Which I understand. Obviously, if they tacked this story on afterward, they didn't have the like sufficient coding or whatever to be like, oh yeah, and then you do this other thing. No, they were just adding story on to game that was already there.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine. I think actually the story is like remarkably good. I would almost take this story over the second. I found the second to be kind of interesting in that they actually have like the Q.U.B.E people talking to you at the end, which is neat. However, this goes kind of the opposite direction of like, this is a Q.U.B.E that is attacking you or attacking Earth, and you have to deal with it,
Because what the story starts out as, I guess we should say, is you wake up in the Q.U.B.E.
In the Q.U.B.E, yeah.
Like you do in, well, I guess sort of in Q.U.B.E 2. In the Q.U.B.E 2, you start off like in the desert.
Yeah, technically it's,
and then you wake
a
up
little
in the,
tiny bit
whatever.
different.
But yeah, you wake up in the Q.U.B.E, no memory, obviously. They're like, then this person contacts you, and it's like, so you got no memory, and you're in this giant spaceship, alien spaceship Q.U.B.E, and you're trying to save the world.
You were sent there to destroy it.
Yeah.
You and I are actually like, we're friends. We work together. Like, you don't know who I am. You can't communicate back to me because for some reason this is one-way communication. It's really stupid, but that's how it works. And you're like,
well, it's
okay,
something. They say that like your player character's radio broke or something.
Right. Which I mean it's whatever. It's like, here's
it's
silent protagonists.
Protagonist A
self-insert. Although I suppose it should be noted that you're actually a guy this time, whereas the last time you were a lady.
True. Last time you were a lady.
Last time you were there was definitely two-way communication.
There was.
So this time
your character did speak.
It's actually
this
quite
time
different.
It's just like whatever. It's the player.
Yeah, and so you're going along and you are doing puzzles. A lot of them are pretty easy at the beginning. You're They're like, yeah, good job. You're making a lot of progress, and as you're going along, and then eventually, you get your like communication channel gets interrupted by somebody who isn't the lady. 919, the guy who we referred to earlier, and he's like, the Earth people are lying. They're all lying. They're terrible people. You shouldn't listen to them.
They're trying to kill you.
Oh, okay. Well, sure, dude.
Okay, well.
I mean, I have to go forward, so I'm just gonna keep doing puzzles.
And the thing is the weird thing is probably this is like a definitely a Cube 2 story, skewing my view of the story as I played, but I definitely like wanted to side with the guy.
Oh, really? I was the
Yeah,
exact opposite. I was like,
because like,
I don't believe you.
well, because the thing is one of the things um that the lady says later is like, you keep doing what you're doing, and she said it so weird that
That it kind of raised a couple of red flags.
sounded like she was lying.
Okay.
It was like a tell, I guess, or something. But it was like, you just keep doing what you're doing and everything will be fine. And it's like, hmm, will it though?
Well, I mean,
John Burns?
for me,
Am I gonna die?
I was like, I mean, I kind of don't have a choice though, right?
I mean,
Like,
yeah, that too. And it's like,
even if she's lying,
I
like, what choice do I have at this point? Do I just like sit down and
yeah,
die? Because like the guy is like, you know, they're lying to you, but he doesn't really give you any like,
any other reason to do anything else.
yeah, like he doesn't give you an alternate path. He doesn't say like, hey, you should do this, go through this wall and you'll find the truth or something. You know, it's just like, they're lying, they're gonna kill you, and it's like, okay, but like, where's your proof though? I don't like, why? Give me a reason to listen to you. And he just never did. He just like got increasingly more irrational. I was like, all right, bye. So that was kind of my thought process
Um, but yeah,
while
it
I was
was
playing.
also like, the lady was like promising you would talk to your wife and then like not delivering that promise. Um,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
it was just a little fishy to me.
Um,
I
although
mean, I agree.
it's,
Looking back now, I am gonna agree with you on the guy was like, he didn't
well, I mean,
make
okay,
too much sense either. But
but the thing is like all the things that he said are like true things, right? Like
yeah,
if you're talking to somebody in real life and they're lying to you and they're putting like excessive detail into something and
hmm
you know that like you don't know that person, or you know they're like somebody you've spoken to a few times and they don't usually talk to you a lot, or you know you don't know them for specifically going into detail frequently, um like chances are they're lying to you. You know, like, and that was one of the key things that he said was like, no,
yeah,
they're,
she was sending too much detail or like
yeah,
so much detail.
right. And I like, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have believed him, because like he honestly, he was
Yeah,
compelling. I
hmm
just was like, I don't know, like, I don't know, I just don't believe you this time, you know.
yeah,
Whereas like the last time, I think we both in Cube 2, we both pretty squarely landed on like side with the aliens, and that ended up being good
yeah.
end. So
Being the correct option, because this time they actually like wanted to help.
yeah. Well, and
They
like
wanted to be the good
I don't
guys.
even know. I don't even know if
But
you could even say.
I don't think the humans were the bad guys necessarily. At least the ones that were helping you.
Yeah,
It was just like, I don't know,
I
maybe, I don't
mean,
know, because they wanted to.
if you
The lady who
recall,
talked to you in the second game was like, no, go overload the core, and where I'm like,
well, good end
how would I?
in the second game was like you basically become one with the computer,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
you
I remember that.
ascend from reality to a higher plane of enlightenment or something.
No, it was like something like that, but like then the aliens put everything back how it was before they got there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then the second one was like they ascended you, and then you just like that's where you stayed.
Something like that. I don't remember. But then
R.I.P.
the bad end was they just fucking kill you.
Yeah.
You just die. Because
Um.
if you try to go overload the core, you just die.
Yeah.
Because if you know the viewers remember, the the aliens were playing both sides.
Yeah. They were kind of shit testing you, which is, you know,
They
whatever.
really were.
But
But this
yeah,
time in the Cube 1, it was actually humans talking to you. She had to relay messages from mission control to you because, um, you know,
they
she was
were,
in like the space
well, yeah, I
station.
was gonna say
She was
they
a
were.
little bit closer
She
than
was in
mission
the
control was.
International Space Station, so she had a pretty close calm, but she even rotated out of range because she was going around the planet.
Yeah.
And
Which
so
I think I feel like the like orbiting out of range happened a little too quickly.
yeah,
Like she would
but
start talking and then like a few seconds later, oh, I'm orbiting out of range, and it's like, but you just started talking to me.
I think I didn't really buy that either, but they
It was
had
like,
to come
okay,
up with
yeah,
some reason why like the
whatever.
comms weren't going through anymore, and it wasn't just because you like walked into the next room,
Yeah. I mean,
Which I was
that's
like,
fine.
all right,
That's an
whatever.
oversight. It's whatever. It was just a little silly to me. It was like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
yeah,
was like,
you
all right,
whatever.
I see you, game devs, I see you.
It's fine. They had to throw this story together and with like paper clips.
Something like that.
Okay, so let's talk about the gameplay. I thought the puzzles were very good.
Yeah, complete like far better than the second
I
game.
think they were far better.
So
The second game was a little bit more consistent with the 3 colors that you get.
yeah, well, okay, so like I guess we'll have to do our little comparison here early.
Yeah,
Um,
well, that I think that works with the gameplay.
well, okay, so in the second game, the one that we played first, not to be
Mhm.
confused with the one that we're playing now, which is the first game. Um, we the second game, you basically get access to putting a colored block anywhere. Okay, and you start off with blue, and then you get red shortly
Mm.
after that, and then you get yellow. Or wait, no, there's no yellow in the second game. It was
In
just
the second
green.
game, there was yellow later.
Yeah, but
I don't think you used yellow though
you
as a
didn't.
block.
It was just
It was the ability
infinity.
to Infinicube. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what the
which
yellow
allowed you
was.
to put multiple of every color out as much as
Yeah.
you wanted. Um,
Um. Yeah.
and so
And the second game was green. Yes.
yeah, and then green was the third cube that you actually used. So blue was a bounce pad, red was
Mhm.
a long tile that extended out, and then green was a block that could be moved by other blocks.
Yeah.
That is the case in this game. However, there was yellow, which could only be placed on
Triple.
a triple tile. It was
Three
a line of
tile
3,
wide. Yeah.
which getting towards the end, that was pretty much everything was in triple tiles.
Yeah.
And
Pretty
then
much.
there was purple, which
Purple.
was
Purple was like a rotate.
it would
It would
rotate
rotate the wall.
the wall, in the way like a screw rotates,
Yeah.
which made things like kind of annoying towards the end
A,
because like the
a
things that
little.
they weren't that they were rotating weren't exactly always consistent. But
Mhm.
I was like, all right, whatever. This is fine. I
That was like the
understand it.
last few puzzles, and that's whatever.
Um.
But what the yellow did was
Oh yeah, I suppose we should.
it if you like extended it out with any of the either of the edge like side ones, it would extend out 3, then 2, then 1,
Yeah, like a staircase.
like a staircase. And if you did the middle one, it would just do 2 and then 1 either side.
Yeah. So it'd be like
So it'd be like a kind of
imagine
like a
like
bar graph.
a winner's
Bar graph.
podium where the winner is in the middle and they're higher than the two on the left and the right.
Yeah.
Think about it like that. I'm sure that there will be footage up on screen eventually that you'll be able to see.
And at the beginning of the first game, you couldn't place cubes at all. You just used what you were given, where they were given.
Right.
So,
you kind of just had to
then
like bounce through whatever the the solution was, because it was like
basically set path.
yeah.
I mean, you still had to figure out the puzzle because they were actually quite nice puzzles. They were good.
Yeah, they were great. The pacing in this game is significantly better than the pacing in the second game.
I think there were more puzzles in the second game though.
There were, but okay, so like the reason why I say pacing is better is because at the very start they teach you how everything works and then they say, all right, go. And in a puzzle game like this where there's many different mechanics, I like that. Whereas it flows better. You get more and more complicated puzzles that include all the mechanics, but even the mechanics, even the puzzles right after you learn the mechanics, were like, hey, do you remember how to do this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the second game?
No, in this game,
In the first game.
in the 10th anniversary edition. Whereas in the second game, it was, you learn blue and then you do a bunch of puzzles, and then you learn red and then you do a bunch of puzzles, and then you learn
Yeah.
green and you do a bunch of puzzles, and then that's all you get until the
And then
very
you
end of the
learn
game.
Well, it was more like you learn this door opens when you hit it. And then later you learn that fire is a thing. Then you learn
Right.
oil. Then you learn those mechanics. You still have the 3 cubes. Whereas in this, you do actually learn, like, you learn these, learn ball, learn door,
Then
learn
there's,
pink,
well, and like
or purple, which is the
the spin, but then there's
turn.
also like, okay, put a colored block or ball or whatever into a
Yeah.
space and it opens up a thing, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
you put green onto a
okay,
green spot for like 5 seconds, I want to say, and then it'll open.
right. which
And
which like
then
complicates things because
which
obviously
that was so good. Um, and then you have laser puzzles as well. You
all the
get
laser puzzles were all kind of annoying. I'm gonna be honest with you.
they were a little annoying,
uh
but you also have the magnet plates, which work way differently than they do in the second game.
yeah,
Uh, the magnet plates in this, you have it in a cardinal direction,
and it
and
pulls.
it'll pull anything that is loose towards it, always.
Right,
Even if it's behind the panel, it'll pull it that direction.
right, which gets
So,
real
like, if you
weird.
have, it is really weird, but I liked it.
Yeah, it definitely was cohesive with everything because like
Whereas,
there were
um,
the robots that went, in a clockwise direction
mhm,
always, and like they also got pulled, and so it basically was like, hey, everything gets pulled by this. There are no exceptions. We're gonna
yeah,
make things around that concept,
yeah.
and
Whereas
so
the magnets in the second game were like, it'll just magnet it to the panel.
yeah.
That's it.
Well, and the thing was is that with the magnets pulling things, and they got pulled through the air, like disregarding gravity.
Gravity, yeah.
Um,
Which again was very, very neat.
yeah, it gave like literally a 3 dimension to the puzzles, which is like something that I don't think they really used a whole lot in uh Cube 2. Like they used a lot of gravity and like launching things and
Yeah,
launching
they used a lot of
cubes and
momentum in
balls and
Cube 2.
momentum. Yeah, and like with the
Whereas
fire and the oil. Whereas this was
this
like
was more
you're manipulating cubes through the air. You got to pull them through
yeah.
this hole to put them over there on this wall, and then you got to rotate it to move it around, and then once you get it lined up, then you got to turn it, and then now the laser shoots in the right place. Congratulations! It's like, oh, wow, that was actually really cool.
Yeah. I think I
Like,
know the exact puzzle you're talking about.
oh, the final puzzle, the one that
No,
took
no,
me
not
like
the final
over an
puzzle.
hour to finish.
That yeah. I don't want to start on that one.
I mean, do you want to like how there was
No,
a thing at
the
the
one
end
I'm
that tells
talking
you
about.
how long it took you to finish like the longest puzzle.
Oh, really? I
And for me it
didn't see
was
that.
for me it was like an hour and 10 minutes on the final puzzle. So
Um,
I
I'm
took
talking
me a
about the
minute.
one that you get two laser cubes, and you have to make a purple laser
Oh yeah.
with the spinning platform in the middle, and you have to um magnet one of the cubes into the middle,
Mhm.
and then rotate, and then magnet it back out to the edge. And that puzzle was neat,
Yeah.
because I'm like, how am I supposed to rotate this? How is this supposed to go and turn in this direction? And I'm like, gotta put it in the middle, rotate it that way, and then put it back. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
That one, it took me a little longer to figure that out than probably should have, but oh well.
I think the one that got me was when they drop you in the hole.
hole.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you fall down into the hole, and then there are those two like spots that rotate, and you had to like launch yourself up and turn the thing at the same time so you could catch
Um,
yourself. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
It's okay. That one was the one that got me the most because it was a timing thing, and I didn't realize it would be a timing thing because like they don't really
Yeah.
do that in this game or either of these games. But that one
Mhm.
was where it was like you have to jump on a launch platform and then like that's that's it. Like you hit the button as you're flying through the air, and if you don't do it right, you just have to keep doing it until you do it right.
Yeah.
You know. Um, Unless like I found a way to finish it that you found a different way. Like
I think
I
I
don't
might
know.
have.
I definitely was like I'm just gonna keep launching myself with this, and then like keep rotating it until it caught me, and then it caught me, and I was like, all right, and then I rotated myself up, and then I went up, and then I went up again, and that was it. And I'm like, yay. One thing I was gonna ask you is, did you get any collectibles?
I got a few in the first episodes or
Oh,
sectors, and then I, after a while, I'm already having a little bit of a tough time figuring out the actual puzzle, and I'm not gonna go after these.
yeah, that's I think I got maybe two. uh I didn't really try for these, though I will say um we both have had so much going on. Me, I'm like in finals week and you've been working and
I mean,
doing other stuff.
yeah, I was just
Uh
doing other stuff.
that we both pretty much played like the minimum amount on this game. Which is really
Yeah,
unfortunate cuz we're reviewing it. Um
also because
but
I like puzzle games like this.
if you enjoy puzzle games like this, there is so much more in this 10th anniversary edition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, each puzzle basically, each zone has like 6 collectibles, which is here is
Yeah,
an alternate
it's like
uh
it's basically like a secondary puzzle, like a
yeah, here's a second
little
puzzle in this
smaller
puzzle.
puzzle.
So
Yeah, to get the
there's like
collectible.
double the amount of puzzles that we did to beat the game.
Yeah.
So like that's
Well, like
neat.
double or triple, because
Yeah.
I think
Well,
some sectors had like 5
had
collectibles to
yeah, like
do.
multiple.
Multiple collectibles in one puzzle.
Um
So it was like you get 3 puzzles in one puzzle.
And then the game ends at sector 7, but there
Yeah.
is a sector 8 that was released with the anniversary that's just puzzles. It's like
Yeah,
apparently an hour to an hour and a half of content
that we didn't play.
that we didn't play. Might go
Which
back and play,
we might
but
go back and play it
just
just for
cuz it's a
funsies.
good time. But
Don't
uh
have a time crunch on it.
yeah. And then there was another thing in the menus that was like challenge mode or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, like challenges, you could go do those
Yeah,
too.
and there were multiple challenges in there, and I was like, oh. So
Mhm.
there's like actually like 2 hours more to play if you wanted more things to do. Maybe like
Yeah.
3 more counting all of the little collectibles. Like
Mhm.
it's quite like just so much. So much more to do in this 10th anniversary edition than the second game. I think I
Yeah.
said this to you earlier. Like this one actually feels more like Cube 3
Yeah,
than
then it does Cube 1.
yeah, I mean obviously I didn't play cuz at the very beginning you could choose Cube 1, it would be just the puzzles, no story, or Cube 1 10th anniversary edition, which was the story,
Story and extended
access,
puzzles, I
yeah,
think.
extended puzzles with the collectibles, access to the 8th sector when you beat the game, etc., etc. Um but
We
like
both chose the 10th anniversary
well,
edition.
yeah, I mean I want the story personally, that's what I like.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I just why like the first game exists. They made 2. Why didn't they
Mhm.
just make 3
Yeah, I mean,
and bundle it with 1 if that's what they were if that's what they were going for? Maybe I mean obviously this cuts out a whole lot of work cuz they don't have to redesign puzzles, they don't have to I mean obviously
it's
not any
better
more
to,
than
like,
they did.
update the puzzles a little for the
Yeah,
collectibles.
like it's so strange. But I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't know.
whatever. Like it was a good time.
It
I had a
was
great
fun,
one.
I agree.
But yeah.
I don't remember what I rated out of 10 Cube 2, but this gets a an 8 or 9, maybe eight
Oh,
and a
really?
half.
I
Yeah.
want to say that my Cube 2 number was 7, and I'm going to go with a 7 on this just because I don't know, puzzle games aren't like my 100% forte, and
Yeah, that's fair.
there's nothing wrong with this game. It's fantastic. I mean, maybe I'll go with a 7.5 just to be like, oh, this was better than Cube 2.
Yeah.
But you know, if I had to say between this game, the 10th anniversary edition, or Cube 2, I would say this one, the 10th anniversary edition.
Yeah.
But like either of those two games, or Portal 2, obviously it's going to be Portal or Portal 2.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, agreed.
I'm not a huge puzzle person, but like Portal and Portal 2, like amazing games.
They hit different.
The
I mean,
puzzles,
obviously they do, because they like they redesigned an entire like puzzle genre. I
yeah,
guess.
I mean, like the whole Portal aspect like wrinkles your brain in just
it does.
the
There's
best
literally
way.
there's
Ooh.
literally a saying. We said this in the Cube 2 video where
Oh, yeah.
there's literally a whole saying that they created, basically, is now
that
you're
spawned
thinking with
around
portals.
it. Yeah, now you're thinking with portals. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at this. This was a
No.
welcome addition to the number
Mhm.
of games that we've played. So, go
Yeah.
check it out. I think it's on Steam for like $10.
Maybe, I don't know.
Q.U.B. Cube 10th anniversary is $20 on Steam. I assume it's going to be the same on Epic unless you got it for free in the same week that we did. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes around again because it's gone around twice. So yeah, go pick that one up because it's gonna be like several hours of games, of puzzles and a great time if you love puzzles. So yeah, 7.5 from me, 8 from you, or 9 from you.
8.5.
8.5 from you. Yeah, that's our review. Go play it. Next game is going to be, what do we decide? Dodo Peak?
Dodo Peak.
Dodo Peak, another game from the Epic Store.
Looks like a silly game.
Looks like a silly game. I don't know what to expect. I'm just hoping it's not bad. Yep, short one today. Thank you for listening.
Yep.
Until next time. Have a great one, everybody. See you later.
Bye-bye.